Yo, what's up guys? Okay, welcome back. So this is kind of a follow-up video to my previous video about the new summoning mechanic, which I think everyone already has seen, even my video or other videos up on YouTube or on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization website. This new type of summoning, link summoning, it's starting to sink in, and what the impact is on the current format and on Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, the huge changes for the field and the metagame. They are going to be huge. It's going to change the game completely. I'll try to make it like a bit more clear with some screenshots, but my apologies for their quality. It's not going to be high quality, but anyway, hopefully this will be somewhat interesting to make you a bit more known with this new summoning mechanic, link summoning. First of all, this the introduction of this new mechanic changes the field, but I'll come back to that in a few moments. But the first thing is that this will pretty much be a complete reboot to the current game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since this new link summoning mechanic does have a huge impact on the fact that the current decks, or a lot of decks in the current format, or yeah, in the upcoming formats, that are heavily based on using their extra deck, they get a huge somewhat stab in the back. So decks like Zoodiacs, decks like DDDs, just introduced in the TCG, they get a huge backslash. Why will be more clear in a few moments. So let's take for example Zodiac Beasts. This is a standard field, you know, going for Broad Bull, and eventually have double Mono Red on your side of the field. But you know, thanks to the new introduction of the two monster card zones between both fields, and you know, at the start of the duel, both these monster card zones don't belong to anyone, so they are like a neutral zone. But you as a player can somewhat take one of this zone and claim one of these zones, and as soon as you claim that zone, the other zone I believe is for the opponent, since you can only have one claimed zone. And in this zone, you can only special summon extra deck monsters. So Exceeds, Synchro summons, etc. can only be special summoned to this particular zone. So in this case, this means that your regular monster zones, so in this case where the Broad Bull is and where the Mono Reds are, nope, you can't use these zones anymore for your extra deck monsters. But there is of course an exception, but I'll come back to that in a few moments. So with the introduction of these two new monster zones, you can only at the start of the duel, at the start of your first extra deck summon, use one of them as a player. So let's say I eventually got my Zoodiac shenanigans going, eventually I have Broad Bull in this new monster zone, so I claimed this one for me, and yeah, eventually I have two reds on my side of the field. You know, the standard play after this is, yeah, going for Drancia if you want, and going for Emerald to, you know, detach and get a draw. But nope, sadly with this new rule you are not allowed to do that, since again the Mono Reds are in your regular monster zone, and with this new rule you can't get those extra deck monsters like Exceeds, like Synchros in this regular monster zone. So all the way back to the beginning. The solution to this is to play new link monster. Well, yeah, there is a solution, but unless you only want to have one extra deck monster, either an Exceed or a Synchro monster on your side of the field, then there is no problem, since you can just use this extra monster zone. But let's say I'm using a deck that's heavily focused on its extra deck, like for example Zodiac Beasts, Satellanites, DDDs, and so on. Well, I have to change my deck, and I have to use these new link monsters, and yeah, these blue ones, as you see here, they go into the extra deck. So again, packing up, filling up the extra deck even more. People already complaining that the extra deck space needs to be increased, but that's another discussion. So again, the solution to these heavily extra deck base decks is to first of all go for a link summon, and in this case I was able to link summon Decode Talker, you know, one of the new link monsters coming out soon. And you know, the link summoning, how it goes is that you either, in this case, Decode Talker is a link 3 monster, so you need to tribute summon or sacrifice 3 effect monsters on your side of the field. and then go for the Link summon of Decode Talker. Or, if you're playing the new Link monsters, you can just use the Link monsters and add in the regular effect monster. But miraculously speaking, let's say my Zoodiac Beast deck was able to get 3 effect monsters on board, which is going to be very difficult if you're not allowed to use your extra deck. But let's say I'm able to do that. I can go for the Link summon and special summon my Decoder or Decode Talker in that extra monster zone. And you see here these new Link monsters have those like markers on the bottom of the card. In this case, Decode, the Decode monster has 2 arrows pointed at the far left corner, down, and then also to the right, down. So this means both these monster card zones I can use for special summoning extra deck monsters. So that's good, since now I can finally get my Zoodiac shenanigans going, go for Broadbull, go for Dwancia, and eventually go for Emerald as well. But outside of these monster zones, I can't special summon other extra deck based monsters like again Exceeds or Synchros. So you see, this is a huge problem for decks that are heavily based on their extra decks, since a deck like Zoodiac Beast or DDDs that heavily rely on their extra deck need to Link summon first to eventually get more zones on their monster card field, on their monster zones on their field to gain some extra Exceeds or Synchro summons at their disposal. So, and that's so difficult. So this is going to have a huge impact on the current format and of course on the upcoming format. And decks like Cosmos or Infernoids that rarely use their extra deck is going to give them a huge boost, since you know they don't need to run those quote-unquote pesky Link monsters in both their main deck and extra deck to, it just makes your DDD deck or your Zoodiac Beast deck far more difficult to run if you first have to go for the Link summon and then get extra space to go for extra deck summons. It's making things more complicated. So again, it all comes down to the fact that Konami is pretty much rebooting the whole game, and again, normally I think slowing down the game tremendously. But yeah, outside of that, Konami doesn't need to release a ban list for example, Zoodiac Beast. It will just, this new summoning mechanic, depending on this new Link support. But for now, it seems that it's very hard for heavily extra deck based decks to somewhat do super well in this upcoming new Yu-Gi-Oh! Format. But again, new Link monsters will probably be released, so it could be make this more easy for the current DDD decks or Zoodiac Beast based decks. And also something important is that please, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, have like an option to use both things, since for something like the Cross Banlist Cup series, I need this. I need the previous setup of using just the regular field, right? Since if Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro only has the option to go for that new field, and then you don't have the option to go for Mass Fusion Summon, Mass Synchro Summon, and that kind of nukes the whole idea behind the Cross Banlist Cup. So if someone from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro sees this, please do have the option to go, like, if you want to play the old format thing or go for the new format thing, if it's possible. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.